How you doing, everybody? I'm Joe from Weird at Last, and I'm here today to show you exactly how I can take my guitar, play it through a Game Boy, and be able to have it come out playing Game Boy sounds. One of the first questions people always ask me when I tell them, I'm playing Game Boy guitar in a band is, well, what do you mean you're playing Game Boy guitar? You're playing your guitar through a Game Boy? And yeah, pretty much that's exactly what I'm doing. So here today I'm going to show you a little bit about exactly how the pedal board works, what I've done, and how I achieve my sound. Alright, so here's a look at my pedal board here. The way that I have it set up, my guitar's input goes right here into it's a Vox 847 wah pedal, and I've modified this for what they call a true bypass switch, so that if I don't have the wah pedal active, it gets a clean signal that will pass right through. That's really important when I'm running the Game Boy, because if you have the wah pedal activated, it kind of messes with the Game Boy's ability to understand what notes I'm playing. So the signal will come out of the Vox, and it goes right here into my ABY switch. Now this AB switch, this enables me to switch between playing, regular guitar and Game Boy guitar. Now the way this works, the first channel, channel A, right here, this is going to go directly to the input of my DS1 distortion pedal. This is the pedal that I use to get my distorted tone in Weird at Last. I've modified it with what's called a Keeley mod, a Seeing Eye mod. It just gives the pedal a little bit more power, I really like the sound I get out of it. But then if I hit the AB switch here again, now I'm going to switch to Game Boy mode. The way this works is I use this little box right here. Now this is called a G2M. It's made by a company called Sonus. It wasn't an expensive little box. I picked it up for about $80 from Sweetwater. And what this thing allows me to do is it takes the notes I'm playing and in real time converts them from an analog signal into a MIDI trigger. So as I'm playing, it'll pick up the notes and turn them into MIDI triggers, which I then, you can see here at the bottom, this is the output. It's got a MIDI cable, which I'm running directly into this little device right here. Now this is what's known as an Arduino boy. It's essentially an Arduino computer. They're these little computers you can pick up from, electronics hobby shops. You can get them off the internet. They're relatively cheap. It's sort of a hobby computer that, you can program to do whatever you want to do. All right, so what I'm doing with this Arduino computer is I've built what's called an Arduino Boy Shield, which is the top layer here. This is something I bought from CatSkullElectronics.com. This guy sells an entire kit with everything you need to put one of these together. And I'm using the Arduino Boy firmware that was written by chiptune artist Trash80. He has it up on his website on his GitHub. We'll put the link to that here in the video, in the comments. And with that, it takes the MIDI inputs coming out of the Sonus and puts them into a sort of a language that the Game Boy can understand. The way it does this, it uses its output right here. It's a Game Boy link cable, which I fed into the side of the Game Boy. And the Game Boy is running software also made by Trash80. This is also freeware that he has up on his website. It's a program called MGB. And what MGB allows you to do is it allows you to, take all 4 sound channels on the Game Boy and play them in real time. So when everything's running together, what I'm able to do is, whatever I play on the guitar will come through the Game Boy, sounding like a Game Boy. Now there's a few limitations. First one being that, I can only play monophonically, meaning one note at a time. The Game Boy and the MGB software, the Arduino Boy, does support the ability for polyphony, playing more than one note at a time. However, the limitation lies within the Sonus G2M. It's a monophonic device. It only allows one note at a time. I have experimented with some other ways of going about this, especially to achieve polyphony. I've tried the Roland, MIDI guitar pickups. I've also tried the Roland MIDI guitar synthesizers, the GI-10, the GI-20. They didn't seem to be very accurate. All right, so here on the Game Boy, we've got some different wavelengths we can use. Essentially, you can configure the Sonus to use any MIDI channel, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Channels 1 and 2 on a Game Boy being, a basic square wave, channel 3 being a triangle wave, and channel 4 is sort of like a noise channel that, a Game Boy would use this channel to make noises like fire or water or almost like a drum sound. But I generally stick to channel 1. It's really got everything I need. There's a few different wavelengths you can switch between. I tend to use, in a few Weird at Last songs, the square wave. And then the fourth setting here is my favorite. That's the one I tend to use all the time. Alright, so that's the basics of what's going on here. Now, as it stands, just using this equipment, the Sonus, the Arduino Boy, and the Game Boy, I'm able to, actually get Game Boy tones from the guitar. But, I still wasn't 100% happy with the results. Every now and then when you would pluck a note, you might get a loud popping noise. Also, I was noticing that sometimes the one note would trigger louder than another note. Plus, it just had a little bit of a raw kind of sound to it. It was, it did sound like a Game Boy, but it needed a little bit of polish, a little bit of shine. So what I'm doing is I'm running the Game Boy through a compressor. This is a Boss CS3 that I've modified to be a little more of a smoother compression. Now, when I have the compressor enabled, I get a little bit of a cleaner tone. I'm able to kind of smooth it over a little bit. Just for a comparison, here's the Game Boy without a compressor. And here's the Game Boy with a compressor. So a little bit of a cleaner tone there. And then also I wanted to give it a little bit of a shine to it. A little bit of like a warmer analog tone, maybe get a little bit of phasing in there. So I just have a basic DoD Icebox chorus pedal. When I enable that, then it really starts to shine. It really kind of brings back those warm feelings of playing a Nintendo when you were a kid, and you would hear those just big fat analog tones coming out of the system. And with this setup, I'm really able to recreate that. All right, so when I put it all together, in a live setting, I'm able to, just play through a song without having to stop and, mess with patch cables or mess with settings. I've got everything set up the way I want it, and I can just go. Alright, well that concludes this video. Once again, I'm Joe from Weird at Last. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and check weirdAtLast.com. We've got a new record coming out in the next few months called The Darkest Timeline, so any information we have we'll be posting on our website. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a good one.